Question number 1. Solve for a, all answers, where a squared minus 8 equals 17. This is an algebra question, and in most algebra questions, the goal is to get the variable a by itself. So how do we do that? Well, the first thing we can do is we can add 8 to both sides, and that gives us a squared equals 25. Then we can take the square root of both sides, and that gives us a equals 5. And that sure looks like a right answer, and in fact it is. A equals 5 is an answer to that equation. And it makes sense. We know that 5 times 5 is 25. But here's the trick. Does a only equal 5? Is there any other number that a could equal and satisfy that equation? What about minus 5? Minus 5 times minus 5, or minus 5 squared, equals 25. And in fact, whenever you take a square root, the actual answer isn't just the positive number that comes out, but the positive and the negative number. In this case, 5 and minus 5. That was a bit of a trick question, and the right answer is 5 and minus 5. Question number 2. What is the probability of rolling 2 dice and getting a 5 or higher on both rolls? Well, a die has 6 sides, so the probability of rolling a 4 or lower, which is what we don't want, is 4 and 6. You could roll a 1, a 2, a 3, or a 4. The probability of rolling a 5 or higher, which is what we do want, is 2 out of 6. You could roll a 5 or a 6. So if we rolled our first die, there would be a 4 and 6 chance we would get an outcome we don't want. We'll make that blue. And a 2 and 6 chance we'll get the outcome we do want. And we'll make that pink. Now, when we roll our second die, we're only going to care about that if in the first roll we got what we wanted. So the bar graph's going to be much smaller. It's going to be the same proportion. The top is going to be 4/6 and the bottom is going to be 2/6. But now the bar is only as high as the probability was of 2/6 on the first roll. Do you see that? Do you see how the second bar is only as tall as the 2/6 of the first bar? That's because we really only cared about the second roll if we got what we wanted in the first roll. And after the second roll, we know the only thing we care about is if we got a 5 or higher on both rolls. So that's that little pink part at the bottom, and that's the answer to our question. What portion of the whole bar is that little pink portion with the question marks? Well, you can do that with multiplication just by multiplying the probabilities out. 2/6 times 2/6 will give you 4/36, which you can simplify to 1/9, and that's your answer. There's a 1/9 probability, and you can also write 1/9 as 11%. So either one of those would have been right, 1/9 or 11%. Question number 3. If you invested $500 and earned 8% interest annually, how much would you have after 7 years? Well, let's simplify this and ask ourselves, if we had $500 and it earned 8% interest, how much would we have after just 1 year? Well, you can take $500 and multiply it by 8%. On your calculator, that would be 500 times 0.08, and that would give you $40. That's what you earned in interest, and you would add that to what you started with, so you would have $540. You can take those 2 steps and simplify it to 1 step by multiplying 500 times 1.08, and that gives you that $540. You just did it in 1 step. But then you could do that again. You could after 1 year, you would invest it again at 8%. So you could take that 540 times 1.08, and you'd have 538 after 2 years. You could do that again, and you'd have 630 after 3 years. And you could keep doing that after 4 years, 5, 6, and after 7 years, you'd have $857. So basically what you did here is you took 500 and you multiplied it by 1.08 7 times. That's a bit of a pain, especially as you get more and more years. What happens if we add 30 years? Would you do that 30 times? Well, the good news is there's a button on your calculator that does that exact thing. It's the X to the Y button. So in this example, you could press 1.08 x to the y 7, and that would give you the same answer as if you took 1.08 times 1.08 times 1.08 times 1.08 and did that 7 times. So to get the answer to this question, you could do 1.08 x to the y 7 times 500, and that would give you $857. And that's the answer to your question. Question number 4. A soda has 250 calories. Your body converts 3,500 calories into a pound of fat. If you drink a soda every day for a year, how much extra fat would you have? Well, this is pretty straightforward multiplication and division. You could take 250 calories per day and multiply that by 365 days per year, and in a year, you would have drank 91,250 calories. You could take that 91,250 calories and divide that by 3,500 calories per pound, and that would give you 26.07 pounds. And that's your answer. If you did it on your calculator, it could be real fast. 250 times 365 divided by 3,500, and that would give you 26.07. Question number 5. What is the area of the shaded portion where you have a square and inside the square is a circle? Well, we know that the area of a square is the length squared, the length times the length. And we know the area of a circle is pi r squared. That funny looking symbol, that pi, is a really important number that you're really going to need to know. We're going to talk about that in a second, but you are going to use that in everything you do as you get more advanced with math. So if you didn't know that already, that pi is 3.14, make sure you know that. All right. This is a pretty straightforward question where basically what you need to do is you need to find the area of the square and you need to subtract the area of the circle, and that'll give you your answer. The area of the square is pretty straightforward. You know a length is 10, so you can take 10 times itself, 10 times 10, and that gives you 100. That's the area of the square. The area of the circle is a little more complex. We're given the diameter of the circle, but that's not what we need. We need the radius of the circle. So the radius is half the diameter. So if the diameter is 10, that means the radius is 5. And then now that we have the radius, we can just plug it into that formula, pi r squared. So pi, which is 3.14, times 5 squared. And that gives us 78.54. Then you're pretty much done. You take 100 minus 78.54, and you get 21.46. And that's your answer. The last question. The ratio of sunny days to cloudy days is 3 to 2. How many sunny days are there in a year? So when you're dealing with ratios, you need to make sure you know what that means. So 3 to 2 means that for every 3 sunny days, there are 2 cloudy days. You can take this one step further and say, for every 5 total days, there are 3 sunny days. And that sure starts to sound like a fraction, doesn't it? The fraction of sunny days is 3/5. There are 3 sunny days for every 5 total days. So hopefully, as you've worked with fractions, that starts to make sense. Well, now you can just multiply. 3/5 times 365 gives you 219 days. And that's your answer. Great job, everyone. And I really want to congratulate all the students who took the test today. This was not an easy test. But in a lot of ways, I think that's good. I hope it challenged you, and I hope it really got you excited about how many great, fun things you can do with math. I promise you the next one's going to be easier because you've got this one under your belt, so you're going to know what to expect more. And these are going to continue to be challenging, but they're going to continue to be fun too. I'm really looking forward to seeing all of you on November 15th at Summerfield Elementary School in the Media Center at 3:15. Thanks so much. Bye.